So a CIA report says that Iran still has 70% of their missile capability and 75% of their military capability overall, despite what Trump has said about taking out like all but I think 15% is what he said of Iran's military capacity. That is simply not true. Iran is still very capable of outlasting any kind of blockade. They're able to shoot at a tanker or two in the Gulf and effectively close the straits that way, because then the ships can't get insurance, or it'd be very difficult to. So Iran has many options. It's very easy, just per the geography of Iran, to hold on to its central government, despite the ethnic diversity of that country, despite the fact that effectively it's a third world country that has massive water shortages, despite the fact that yes, their tankers can be intercepted. Nonetheless, Iran has the capacity to destroy oil infrastructure on the other side of the Gulf. They have the capacity to control those straits geographically, just again as virtue of the topography of that area. And the United States cannot change that easily. Okay, in order to change that, we wouldn't have to have millions of ground forces. Like a million would be minimum. Probably more than that, in order to take over, basically overthrow the current regime, to install another regime, and to stabilize that country so you don't have terrorist cells doing what Iran is currently doing. That would be, and in the process, Iran, in that process of being physically invaded, will destroy basically those Gulf countries: Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar would be destroyed, and we would have a energy-induced global depression. So in this situation, given, if you care anything about, the 6.5 billion people on this planet, you don't want any of them to starve to death. If you care about the economy, like you don't want supply chain steps to completely shut down in East Asia, which in itself would cause a huge catastrophe, then you cannot look at the situation as a potential military solution in Iran, or you have to really seriously change the thinking. So Trump has been making statements to try to stabilize the economy. I'll give him credit for that. He's very good at, making the American people feel good, which is more than I could say about previous presidents. But unlike those previous presidents, he has the same problem as they do, is that he's beholden to foreign interests. And I've discussed this at length before. That's really the root of the problem here. And I'm not saying that Iran is an angel of a country. Certainly they do sponsor terrorism, Hezbollah, the Houthis, etc. But let's just be very frank here. And I have the article right here of talking about the CIA report. They still have a very effective capacity to destroy infrastructure enough to just basically destroy the world's economy. And that's something that they will do. So how do you approach this? Well, this is not the conventional military strategy. Let's bomb them like we've been doing, right? That's not going to be a solution really going forward. And we need to put Israel in its place. We need to think about American interests over specifically not even Israel, it's specifically the Zionist interests, the neocon Zionist interests, because they don't care. Their interests are not in line with the interests of basically anybody else on the planet. Again, I'm not defending the regime in Iran. Let's just be clear. However, the situation needs to be approached a lot more intelligently than it already is.